Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of Money and Muscle, where we're gonna get rich and we're gonna get healthy, bigger together. So let's go. So for the first episode, I got planned to listen to the book by Donald Trump since it's election years, How to Get Rich. And we're gonna listen to it together and we're gonna work out, we're gonna share the experiences together. Let's get straight to it.
Sound Ideas, an imprint of Simon & Schuster Incorporated, is pleased to present Trump, How to Get Rich, Unabridged, written by Donald J. Trump.
How to Get Rich. So I'm gonna be sharing the link of the audiobook so you can listen to it in your own time. I'm doing it on YouTube, it's for free. So we can learn together and you can leave in the comment, oh, I really like when the book said this, or I disagree, or I agree. So we can learn together. We can push each other, get better, you know? So today is leg day and I feel sick. So this is how the show was born. So I'm sick. I was like, damn, bro, I wanna go to the gym, but I feel like shit. So what can I do? Oh, we got a machine at home. Why don't we do something light since we don't have a lot of weight? And I was like, yeah, but let's be productive, because every time we go to the gym, we're listening to something. So I was like, bro, why don't we listen to something and we film it, like a cool episode, like for YouTube. I was like, damn, bro, that's cool. If I had a show like that, what would I call it? I would call it Money and Muscle, and that's how this show is coming together. So let's get straight to it. We're doing it in a garage. That's why I had the motorcycle in here, everything, tools, everything. But don't focus on the other things. Let's focus on the knowledge. Let's go.
And read
I'm gonna put it right here so you can listen to it.
for you by Barry Bostwick. 5 billion reasons why you should listen to this audiobook. A lot has happened to us all since 1987. That's the year The Art of the Deal was published and became the best-selling business book of the decade, with over 3 million copies in print. Business rule number 1.
Damn, you're starting with the rules right away. Let's fix the mic so it can be facing you. We're gonna start with leg curls. Let me fix it. There you go. Well, if it's bad, we're gonna realize it later, and then everything's gonna be, gonna go to waste. But if the show is gonna be successful, this is gonna be good, and everything's gonna be great. And then we can move on.
If you don't tell people about your success, this book of the
This is rule number 1, since we're starting back.
decade, with over 3 million copies in print. Business rule number 1. If you don't tell people about your success, they probably won't know about it. A few months ago, I picked up The Art of the Deal, skimmed a bit, and then read the first and last paragraphs. I realized that after 17 years, they still rang true. I could have written these words yesterday. First paragraph. I don't do it for the money. I've got enough, much more than I'll ever need. I do it to do it. Deals are my art form. Other people paint beautifully on canvas or write wonderful poetry. I like making deals, preferably big deals. That's how I get my kicks. Last paragraph. Don't get me wrong.
So this is extremely true. If we chase money, I have seen so many people. I got friends that are wealthy, and I listen to a lot of people that are successful on the internet, like people like Justin Waller, people that build businesses like Trump, people like, successful people, and they're like, bro, if you're chasing just money, you're gonna run out of the fuel to get to the next level. Because, bro, okay, you get to 100,000, okay, you got money, you make 100,000 a year, you make money, and you were chasing money, and that's where you die. Patrick Bet-David talks a lot about this, about having something that is bigger than money, maybe a legacy. Be be so great that your last name means something, you know? For me, I wanna listen to what you guys feel is. It used to be money, to be honest, but then I'm like, damn, bro, I wanna be able to provide the best experiences, the best life possible for my family. So we can go wherever we want, we can get the best experiences, the best treatment, the best everything, you know?
I also plan to keep making deals, big deals, and right around the clock. It's now 2004. I'm still making deals around the clock, and I still don't do it for the money. I don't think you should do it for the money either. Money is not an end in itself, but it's sometimes the most effective way to help us realize our dreams. So if you've got big dreams and you're looking for a way to make them happen, this audiobook is for you. How to Get Rich. That's what I decided to call it, because whenever I meet people, that's usually what they want to know from me. You ask a baker how he makes bread. You ask a billionaire how he makes money. Sure, there have been countless How to Get Rich books written by millionaires. Billionaire authors are harder to find. Billionaire authors with interests in real estate, gaming, sports, and entertainment are rarer still. And billionaire authors with their own Manhattan skyscrapers and hit primetime television series are rarest of all. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one, though Oprah could give me a run for the money if she ever decides to write another book and get into real estate. Business rule number 2. Keep it short, fast, and direct. The following will be straight.
Keep it short, fast, and direct. We gotta get straight to it. Whatever we want to get, we gotta be sure to be efficient. Get it. Let's go. We wanna get rich. What can we do now?
Forward and succinct.
Let's play back.
Keep it short, fast, and direct. The following will be straightforward and succinct, but don't let the brevity of these passages prevent you from savoring the profundity of the advice you're about to receive. These stories and words of wisdom have been distilled from almost 30 years at the top. So here it comes, the scoop from the Donald. After you make your first billion, don't forget to send me a thank you note. You know the address.
Trump Tower. No, Mar-a-Lago. Okay, so this is pretty light. I never done legs in this setup before, so we're gonna combine it with squats with this bar.
With an introduction by Donald J. Trump.
I don't know how I'm gonna hold this so you can listen to it. Let's put it
Part
right
1.
here, close.
The Donald J. Trump School of Business and Management.
Business and management. So the sauce, we got the sauce for you guys. I found one of the best books to start this show with. So I'm really excited. I hope you are excited too. And let's get this on and let's get the knowledge down in our brains. Let's go. This is a Tom Plates. He says that it's not about the weight, it's about the form and the amount, the repetitions when we do squats. So that's what we're focusing on. Perfect. This way is perfect for that. Let's kill ourselves and let's get it.
Be a general.
Be a general.
I am the chairman and president of the Trump Organization. I like saying that because it means a great deal to me. There are almost 20,000 members of this organization at this point. I did a print ad once in which I declared, I only work with the best. That statement still stands. More and more, I see that running a business is like being a general. Calling the shots carries a great deal of responsibility, not only for yourself, but for your troops. Your employees' lives, to a large extent, are dependent on you and your decisions. Bad strategy can end up affecting a lot of people. This is where being a leader takes on a new dimension. Every decision you make is an important one, whether there are 20,000 people working for you or just one. If you are careful when finding employees, management becomes a lot easier. I rely on a few key people to keep me informed. They know I trust them, and they do their best to keep that trust intact. For example, when I need to know something about my casinos and hotels in Atlantic City, I know I can call up Mark Brown, my CEO, and get a fast and informed answer. If I call Laura Cordovano over at Trump Park Avenue and ask about sales, she'll give it to me exactly as it is. If I call Alan Weisselberg, my CFO, he'll tell me what I need to know in 20 words or less. My senior counsel and apprentice advisor, George Ross, can do it in 10 words or less. Find people who suit your business style, and you'll have fewer problems to deal with as time goes on. Good people equals good management, and good management equals good people. They have to work together, or they won't work together for very long. I've seen good management get by with mediocre people, and I've also seen excellent people get...
This is great because business is just like a game. It's like war. I'm not saying that war is a game, but there's a lot of, people that play like on PlayStation and things like that, Xbox, the computer war games. And you can compare it. You gotta be a general. I'm breathing like this because, bro, this garage has no AC and no fucking oven, but that's good because we wanna be a lean killing machine.
And the mires of bad management. The good managers will eventually leave, followed by the good workers, and you will be left with a team that gets along because they're all mediocre. Save yourself time, but
Taking off my shoe because I'm hitting the floor.
getting the best people you can. Sometimes this can mean choosing attitude over experience and credentials. Use your creativity to come up with a good mix. Creative people rarely need to be motivated. They have their own inner drive that refuses to be bored. They refuse to be complacent. They live on the edge, which is precisely what is needed to be successful and remain successful. One of my former employees was in charge of a new project. He had done a thorough and acceptable job, but I felt that something was missing. It wasn't fantastic, which, knowing his capabilities, it should have been. I decided to challenge his creative ego by mentioning that it was fine, but seemed to lack inspiration. I politely asked him whether he was genuinely interested in the project and suggested that perhaps that might be the problem. Well, the guy went ballistic on me. He was deeply insulted. And as you can probably guess, the revision he turned in was terrific. The difference between the first draft and the final version was incredible. I didn't slam the guy because he was usually demanding of himself and had never let me down. But I had to give him a jolt. Generals motivate their soldiers. They inspire them when it is necessary. They do the same for the highest ranking officers. We all need a boost now and then. Learn how to tailor your method to the personalities you are managing. Keep the big picture in mind while attending to the daily details. This can seem like a balancing act, but it is absolutely necessary for success in running a company. Stay focused. In the 1980s, I was riding high. After learning the essentials of real estate development from my father, Fred, a builder in Queens and Brooklyn, I'd become a major player in Manhattan, developing Trump Tower, the Grand Hyatt Hotel, and many other top-tier properties. I had a yacht, a plane, a best-selling book.
Soon, baby.
One magazine headline said, "Everything he touches turns to gold," and I believed it. I'd never known adversity. I went straight from Wharton to wealth. Even in down markets, I bought properties inexpensively and made a lot of money. I began to think it was easy. In the late 80s, I lost focus. I'd fly off to Europe to attend fashion shows, and I wasn't looking at the clothing. My lack of attention was killing my business. Then the real estate market crashed. I owed billions upon billions of dollars, 9.2 billion to be exact. That's $9,200,000,000. I've told this story many times before, but it bears repeating. In the midst of the crash, I passed a beggar on the street and realized he was worth 9.2 billion more than I was. I saw a lot of my friends go bankrupt, never to be heard from again. The media had me for lunch. Forbes, Businessweek, Fortune, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, they all published major stories about my crisis, and a lot of people seemed to be happy about it. I'll never forget the worst moment. It was 3 a.m. Citibank phoned me at my home in Trump Tower. They wanted me to come over to their office immediately to negotiate new terms with some foreign banks, 3 of the 99 banks to whom I owed billions. It's tough when you have to tell a banker that you can't pay interest. They tend not to like those words. An ally at Citibank suggested that the best way for me to handle this difficult situation was to call the banks myself, and that's exactly what they wanted me to do. At 3 o'clock on a cold January morning in the freezing rain, there were no cabs, so I walked 15 blocks to Citibank. By the time I got there, I was drenched. That was a low point. There were 30 bankers sitting around a big table. I phoned one Japanese banker, then an Austrian banker, and then a third banker from a country I can no longer remember. In The Art of the Deal, I had warned readers never to personally guarantee anything. Well, I hadn't followed my own advice. Of the 9.2 billion I owed, I'd personally guaranteed $1 billion. I was a schmuck. But I was a lucky schmuck, and I wound up dealing with some understanding bankers who worked out a fair deal. After being the king of the 80s, I survived the early 90s, and by the mid to late 90s, I was thriving again. But I learned my lesson. I work as hard today as I did when I was a young developer in the 1970s. Don't make the mistake I did. Stay focused. Maintain your momentum. William Levitt, the master builder of Levittown, taught me the true meaning of momentum. In the 1950s, he was the king. No detail was too small for his attention. He would personally collect stray nails and extra chips of wood from building sites to make sure his construction crews used all available materials. He sold his company in 1956 to ITT for $100 million, which is equivalent to billions today. Then he made some terrible mistakes. He retired. He married the wrong woman. He moved to the south of France and lived on the Riviera with his new boat and his new wife. One day, ITT called. The executives in charge of the conglomerate had no aptitude for home building. They had bought huge tracts of land but didn't know how to get them zoned, so they sold it back to Levitt, who thought he'd gotten a great deal. He went back into business, and he proceeded to go bankrupt. I saw William Levitt at a cocktail party in 1994, 2 weeks before he died. He was standing by himself in a corner, looking defeated. I didn't know him well, but I approached him hoping to acquire some wisdom from the master. "Mr. Levitt," I said, "how are you doing?" "Not good, Donald, not good." Then he said the words I'll never forget. "I lost my momentum. I was out of the world for 20 years. I came back, and I wasn't the same." No matter how accomplished you are, no matter how well you think you know your business, you have to remain vigilant about the details of your field. You can't get by on experience or smarts. Even the best surgeons need to be retrained regularly to stay current on the latest research and procedures. No matter what you're managing, don't assume you can glide by. Momentum is something you have to work at to maintain.
So I want to give you guys a summary of the 3 points that we have touched so far. The first one being be fast, be efficient. We gotta move with speed. We gotta get things done fast. The fastest that we can at the highest quality that we can. We cannot be slow. We look at this show. We had the idea 30 minutes ago. And now, speed, baby. We're here and we're making it happen. Number 2, focus. We gotta stay focused. Like Trump said, he started getting some traction. He started getting some money, and then he let the foot out of the gas, and then went to Europe, and that ended all in some difficulties. So we gotta be focused on the things that we want. Number 3 is gonna be never lose momentum. Once we're rolling, this one ties to the number 2. That's being focused. Number 3, never lose momentum. So once we're going with everything, double down. Focus all your time and energy into the thing that's working. Don't just, I already made it. I don't have to keep working. No, we're going for the long term. So that's what we gotta do. Number 1, speed. Number 2, focus. And number 3, momentum. Keep the momentum.
Get a great assistant. Surround yourself with people you can trust. I often say it's good to be paranoid, but not when it comes to your home team. Ask God for a great assistant. No joke. A great one can make your life a whole lot easier, or in my case, almost manageable. Norma Forderer has been with me for 23 years. If you want to know what a great guy I am, just ask her, but not on a Friday. Handling me, the office, and several hundred calls a week isn't easy. She's as tough and smart as she is gracious. She's also indefatigable, which helps a lot if you work for me. My phones are so busy that I require 2 executive assistants, and they never stop. They alone handle, on the average, more than 1,250 calls a week. They are not only efficient and fast, but they are also very pleasant and beautiful young women. You don't have to be beautiful to work for me. Just be good at your job. I've been accused of admiring beautiful women. I plead guilty. But when it comes to the workplace, anyone who is beautiful had better have brains too. You need competent people with an inherent work ethic. I'm not a complacent person, and I can't have a complacent staff. I move forward quickly, and so must they. Once I wanted to know how fast a new employee could work, so I told him I was leaving in 15 minutes and needed something done within that time. I wasn't actually going anywhere, but sure enough, I had what I needed in 15 minutes. Machiavellian? Maybe, but both of us learned something that day. One final piece of advice on assistance, which I learned from experience and which, I admit, may not be as relevant to your career as it's been to mine. Find a receptionist who can speak English. We had a breathtaking European beauty out front who could easily rival Ingrid Bergman in her heyday, but I discovered that her ability to recognize well-known people in the United States was limited to myself and maybe President Bush. She wasn't so familiar with the likes of Hugh Grant, Reggie Jackson, George Steinbrenner, Jack Welch, Paul Anka, Muhammad Al.
Okay, so for the last set here, we're doing reps until we can't do it no more. I just wanted to say that because we're muscle and money, so we're doing the muscle, going to failure on the last one to build that muscle, baby. Okay, so here he's talking about the assistant not knowing the famous people.
Fayette, Regis Philbin, or Tony Bennett. Their calls never got through to me, and their names were placed on her psycho list. But you should have seen her. What a knockout. She's since moved on to better career opportunities, but we'll never forget her. Neither will anyone who ever called in, or tried to. Remember, the buck starts here. Set the standard. Don't expect your employees to work harder than you do. In my case, I don't have to worry about that because I work 7 days a week and love almost every minute of it. But also realize that your company will sometimes function as an extended and dysfunctional family. It's only natural, considering that people often spend more waking hours with coworkers than they do with their families. A visitor in my office once mentioned that the goings-on there reminded him of a family fight in progress. I will admit that the volume level gets high now and then, and he wasn't far off in his assessment. But if you want smooth sailing every day, move to the Mediterranean. Winners see problems as just another way to prove themselves. Problems are never truly hardships to them, and if you haven't got any problems, then you must not have a business to run. Regard your company as a living, breathing organism because that's what it is. Those figures you see on your spreadsheets will reflect the health of that organism. Watch out for bad cells while allowing good cells to flourish. Growth is an indication.
So we just finished the 2 exercises for the leg day. We're gonna keep it short because it's the first episode. If you guys like it, I'm gonna probably do 2 more exercises and then we're gonna, take a shower. But if you guys liked it, like the video, share it. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you wanna, see more episodes of. Just to recap, the 5 keys to becoming rich from the book of Trump, How to Get Rich. The 5 points that we touched today were: be fast, efficient. Number 2, focus on what you want. Number 3, never lose momentum. Number 4, be surrounded by great people. And number 5 is work harder than everybody else. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Let's go.